Good morning. Okay, will you do me a favor and just let me know you're around? Say hello. And here we are. Can you imagine? It's July. Yay, good. Thank you so much. All right, so it's July. Who thought that we would be here on a Saturday morning in July? I admit that I didn't quite see it this way. I saw that we would be, I hoped that we would be back out and with each other by now. And here we are. So I want to take a slightly different tack this morning. And those of you who show up Saturday morning know me well enough to know that often I use examples from my life to describe aspects of the yoga practice. And I was just reading this story this morning about this Zen teacher who, this is an old story, this Zen teacher was called to certain qualities of leadership and he realized he didn't have them. And so he basically gave up his robes and he went away for 8 years and studied as a student and came back enlightened. And I thought, gosh, that would be so convenient if I could just remove myself from the world and handle some of my own issues and then return. But it's not like that, is it? I mean, here we are, we're in the midst of it. And what I'm hoping is that I know that in this process of COVID, these are called COVID flows, so I'm usually addressing some aspect of COVID. I've found recurring patterns in my own inner workings that often, actually, some of those recurring patterns are qualities that are the antithesis of what I dedicate myself to at the beginning of practice. For example, often what we do is we come to the seat or we come to a standing posture and we say, may I be more generous? May I act with integrity? May I practice consistently with joyful effort? May I be more patient? Can I let go often and concentrate on what, the practice? And may I refer to the inner wisdom within me? And so in the form of Om Mani Padme Hum, yeah? So I've been working with patience, and it came to me this week very clearly that my practice right now is dedicated to being a more patient human being. Now, perhaps in the summer months, those of us who run hot and are quite active, and right now, particularly if there's fear involved, we can overwork. And I've been feeling, in order to shift one of these qualities, we have to meet it with the third eye, the inner eye of awareness, which means, oh wow, check me out. There I am, impatient again. And just allow it to be and then carry on. And in a way, it's related to the quality that we find in the Yoga Sutras, in the Brahma Viharas, equanimity. So something comes at us, we may not like it. It could be in the form of someone else and their ideas about how things should be we're not thrilled with. We can either battle it or we can acknowledge it and turn our attention back to where we need to go. And I'm finding that those two are in some way related. The capacity to be a patient human being, the capacity to practice equanimity. And so we're going to address that in the practice this morning. And often we use our body as an analogy, and we will certainly do that. We will look at some of Well, we're going to isolate the shapes that we're taking, and let's make a game out of returning again and again. You know, Sharon Salzberg says beginning again. We begin again, and I like either begin again or return again to just the practice of being present. And I invite you to take a particular quality that you're working on cultivating. You might look at its opposite, what has been coming up that you'd prefer not to look at, and let's hang with that this morning and get to know it really well. Because that's part of the deal, is that we want to get to know so well some of the old patterns that emerge in here so that we've got some capacity to see the landscape and make another choice. All right? So with that, let's dedicate ourselves. You can bring the palms together at the heart, and we'll sing one Om Mani Padme Hum. Generosity, doing the right thing, patience, joyful effort of practice, concentration, wisdom. Om Mani So let's begin on the back, shall we? Lying back. We don't often do that first thing. And settling our weight down, I would hope that you have a strap or a block available to you. Not the end of the world if you don't. If you've got some books nearby, that's good. A towel works also. And we'll just draw the right knee in toward the chest. Let's interlace the fingers around the shin. Let the shoulders soften. Deepen the hip crease. Feeling the weight of the thigh bone and the weight of the body into the floor. Just feeling here, there's this mountain pose quality to this posture, where if we took our hands to our hips, we could feel that the hips are pretty level. And then we'll place the right foot down as if we were coming to bridge pose, but we're not. We're going to just lower the right leg out to the side. And if your hands are lightly on the hip bones, ASIS, you can inhale, come back up. You'll feel, as you exhale back down, that the pelvis, ideally, it stays steady, yes? And that may mean that the leg does not go to the floor. We inhale, come back up. And we'll just take 3 more of these, just asking for a little bit more opening in the adductors, the hip flexors, but there's no forcing or pushing. That's a fascinating thing. The idea of taking the force and the push out of the way we roll. Take the right leg long now, pause. And then switch left knee. And out to the side we go, watching what happens here. Sometimes inhale back up, exhaling. Sometimes we may have an imbalance on one side or the other. All good. You just notice what's there. Going slowly. And we have about, 2 more. Maybe subtle distinctions between left and right side. See if that's true for you. Good, and then release the left leg long. Good, let's give ourselves a hug here. Draw the knees into the chest. Attempt to kiss the knees Lift the head off, squeeze abdominals. Feel how that creates a little more space in the lower back. And then release back down. Now let's take the right knee in toward the chest and send the right leg up. And some of you, this is where a strap could be helpful. We could close the chain here with a strap, or we can hold on to the back of the thigh or the calf. If you hold the big toe, would you not have the shoulder lifted like this? Just draw downward. Be sure that you're able to stay stable and equanimous in the shoulders. And now press out your heels quite a lot, quite a lot. Feel the strength of your legs. And you might just check your left foot. Be sure the toes turn up. And root the right sit bone down toward the left big toe. And with your left hand on your hip, maybe the right leg extends out to the right. And then we come back up. And again, we'll go 5 times, but go slow enough so you can watch and feel what's happening in there. I like to inhale down and exhale, come back up. Let's see what's true for you. Good, we're probably about the last one now. And release the right leg slowly down. Slowly down. Good. Interlace your fingers behind your head so the thumbs draw down the nape of the neck. And then draw both knees in toward the chest, and maybe the elbows touch the knees. And then when you inhale, open out like a kayak. Point the toes. Exhale, knees and elbows. Lightly the sacrum comes off. Inhale, open. Exhale. 2 more. Just waking up the mid-body this morning. Good, and then release everything long. Set the body back down. Feel almost as if it's like, it's a mountain pose, isn't it? With that same level of attention. We take the left leg now, knee in, extend the left leg. It's the morning, so we're patient. We're patient with the hamstrings. Knee might be bent. We might grasp. Drop the shoulder, or we've got the strap. When we inhale here, exhale, take it out to the left. Watch the right hip. It stays down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise up. Exhale. So very interested in equal pelvis. Inhale, back up. Exhale, press through the right heel. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release the left leg slowly. Okay, hopefully that was slowly. And then let's draw the knees into the chest. Give ourselves a hug. And we'll begin to roll. Exhale up, inhale back. And we'll do 5 of these. How slowly can we roll and still be rolling? Feeling each vertebrae land one at a time. Possible? 1 more for the road. Okay, the feet are crossed, they come to the ground, the hands come to the floor, we lift the hips, we walk the legs back, and we pause and plank. With our index fingers forward, our hands under our shoulders, strong legs, long body, head in alignment with the rest of the body. Grow through the heels, through the top of the head. You can inhale, exhale, slowly lower or knees and torso down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Press the feet. Exhale back over the toes, downward dog. Walking back and forth here. Interested in gleaning some space out of the back of the hamstrings. The left toes might wrap around the right heel to pull down gently. You might find that bending the right knee slightly helps to get into the Achilles tendon, the lower calf. And then the left foot lands and the right toes grasp, pulling downward. Try the bend. Good, then come back to downward dog. Inhaling, come forward to plank. Now exhale, take your time, either knees and torso down or slowly lower, coming onto the belly. Resting on the belly, take your face now to the back of the hands, just rest on your cheek. Okay, so if you're on a sticky mat, that creates a certain kind of resistance, and we'll see how that works. Sometimes we do this with a blanket on the mat, but would you go ahead and take your left knee out to the side as if the foot was coming right up the inner right leg, and then back down again. And we'll do this, what do you think, 5 times? Lifting the knee up. Keep the foot tracing a path up and down the inner right leg. And watch as the hip opens out to the side. You go as high as you can go without push or force. And you may notice the pelvis. What the heck's happening in the pelvis now? Is it able to stay pretty even, or do you, of course, feel as the left knee comes up a little lift on the left side? And when you're finished with your 5, pause and feel. In fact, that should feel pretty good. Let's take the fingertips to the ground just under the shoulders. Inhale, lift the chest up and pull the chest forward as you root your legs, point your toes back, make your legs really strong. Strong and heavy. Take your breath up into the top chest area for a little aeration. And inhale, exhale, down we come. And let's switch sides. So right foot now traces right up the inner left leg. And back down. And noticing left to right side. It could be an entirely different experience over here. So we want to move slow enough that we have tethered our awareness to the action of the movement. You imagine living your life like you are fully present in every moment, really there for it. Isn't that what we all want? Good, 1 or 2 more. The art of being here. Okay, wonderful. Releasing the leg, pause. Good, now let's take the arms way out in front of us, stretching the arms forward, lifting the legs off, extending arms, lifting chest, waking up the space between the toes, grows. Breathing into the armpit chest, as they like to call it. Inhale. Exhale, releasing, pause. Good. Who is they? Who is they that like to call it that? It's a BKS Iyengar. Armpit chest. So we're going to roll onto the side now. And this is where it would be nice if you had a strap or a towel. Because now we're going to take the foot, and we'd like to have it be the ball of the foot actually around the strap or towel. And we can just lay down on the arm. And you may feel quite precarious here. And if that's the case, go ahead and bend the right knee a little bit. But in this posture, we're going to send the left sit bone down toward the right heel. Push up and out through both heels quite a lot. Now, if you've got a lifted leg that is way over the head, would you just have it be vertical for our purposes? Good. Now draw the navel to the spine. And we're going to play with lowering the left leg so that it's floating above the floor. And you'll feel, wow, the right leg is really making contact with the floor. The idea is that the left leg is floating, that it is not on the floor. We inhale, come back up. Exhale, slowly lower. Just notice what else in the body is contracting in order to do this. Come back up. Only use what you need to use if possible. Exhale, lower. And some of you might bend your right knee slightly just to make have greater connection to the ground. Push out through the heels. Come back up. Let's do one more. Pause. Feel how much is happening through both legs. And then inhale, come back up. Exhale, release the strap. Now let's just keep the left leg up for a moment. It might be getting a little bit tired up there. Now we don't have the strap. We could place the fingertips lightly on the floor, but when I say lightly, I mean lightly. So we're just doing this here with the outer leg. We're slowly going to lower and see if we can keep it off the ground without the help of the strap. And then inhale back up. Let's do one more of those. Exhale slowly. Inhale back up. All right, release the left leg. Either roll over onto your side or switch, coming around. Good. Just trust me on this. This is good work. Good work. So we'll take the strap around the ball of the foot. See what it's like on this side. Now shoot out through both heels. Yep, check your right leg for, well, verticality, I suppose. Yep, extend through your heels. Relax your head as much as you can. Inhale, exhale, slowly lower. Who do we have over here? Inhale, back up. Exhale, lower. Inhale. You know, if we're interested, sometimes we'll find a pattern in the body we didn't even know was there. And we meet it with our awareness. Wow, check that out. That's fascinating. Inhale up. And exhale. Good. And one more. Actually, I think I'm cheating that. I think that was 4. Exhale down. Okay, one more. And down. And pause. Shoot out through the heels and then back up. And release your strap and just have the leg hang out for a moment. Push into your ceiling. Come lightly onto your fingertips, lightly. And then slowly lower the right leg. You don't even have to have the fingertips if you can do it. Feeling in. Inhale back up. I hope you're still with me. Exhale, lower. Push. Push. Inhaling. Exhale, release the leg. Come onto the back for a moment. All right, well done. So you see that the shapes that we're taking are quite simple. 2 basic shapes so far. Let's roll once again. And we're going to roll onto hands and knees. And let's do it on this next one. Inhale back. Exhale, hands down. Knees back. Good, hands under the shoulders. All right, so let's explore the same set of movements, basically, but it's so fascinating how gravity can change the experience entirely. So here, we would love to keep the pelvis neutral, equanimous, a pelvis of equanimity, if possible. We take the right leg out to the side, extend right leg, exhale, slowly releasing back down, inhaling. Foot is probably flexed, and you may find that when you send the right leg out to the side, the left hip wants to jut out to the left. Just very aware of what center is in your body. Okay, one more time. If we're honest about it, sometimes we'll go the max, and what we've done is we've pulled ourselves completely out of alignment. So for today, we are so interested in that. Pelvis neutral, left leg out to the side. May not go out so far. And back. With the breath. Okay, and then releasing. Good, now tuck your toes under, please. And let's sit on the heels for a moment. And let the soles of the feet soften and relax. Some of you might have a block nearby, just to, hands on the block is nice if this is brutal, which it often is. And then rise up onto your shins. Okay, so this is I will be a poor example of this. Let's put it that way. We're down on the shins. What we do, we take the hands to the hips. We bring the left leg forward. It's the same action. So the left leg's forward, the left foot's flexed. The question is whether we can lift the left leg off the floor and balance at the same time. Watching the pelvis. Watching the pelvis. This is going to be my work this week is, can I get the left leg to lift and keep the pelvis neutral? Yeah, wherever you are, I hope that you are in the present moment with it. Good, switching, take the left shin down, right leg forward. Pelvis neutral. Maybe hands on blocks and lifting the right leg. And playing with this, extending. This is one reason we love balance postures so much, is there's nowhere to be but here. Okay, how was that? I wish I could see you. Okay, so now let's release all of that. Take the hands to the floor. Toes tuck under, back to downward dog. Good. The known world, we find our way into our dog, lengthen the spine. Hips draw back behind us. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your knees. Look past your hands. Step or float forward. Inhale. We lengthen. Exhale. Fold. Release. Inhale. Push the ground away. Rise up. Palms touch. Exhale. Fold forward, out, and down. Inhale. We lengthen. Exhale, palms down, step back, and either knees and torso down or lower through. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, over the toes, downward facing dog. Watching the breath, watching left and right sides. Do they feel equal in the body? What if we spend a little bit of time here? So in my studies of impatience, my own impatience, I've been noticing that there's a sensation that arises in the body first. It's in my torso and it's heat. And it shows up, and if I'm not aware that the impatience is there, I'm on to the next thing. And I'm spinning, I'm going really fast before I even know it. If I'm aware that it's there, I've got to let myself feel that heat come up and then make another choice. Now we'll take the right leg up and back, and the hips are square. We bend the right knee. You got it. So we're progressing upward here in terms of intensity. And you may find, wow, this is as far as I can go today. We want to be honest about that. We'll take the right knee out to the side. The question then is, can the pelvis still be relatively neutral? And then exhale back down so that the right thigh meets the left. Inhale out to the side. If this is too much, you can come back to the hands and knees version. Back to center. And we'll do 3 more of these. Not sacrificing the pelvis. And then release the right foot to the floor, come down to child's pose. So my invitation to you this week is, if you do have a block, you can set the block when you're on hands and knees, set the block at your tailbone, and then take the leg out to the side and see what happens. The block may very well fall right off. It can be done. You imagine when you come back to downward dog that you do have a block at your sacrum, so that when you send the left leg back behind you, adjust accordingly so it feels as though you could balance. Then bend the left knee. And here we go. Nothing changes in the pelvis. As we inhale out to the side, it may feel like we're going nowhere. We exhale back. Good, and then when you're finished, downward dog. And then back to child's pose. Slowly come back up. Now tuck the toes under. Send the left leg out in front of you. Now we've got the right toes tucked under here, don't we? We're going to lift the left leg off the floor. I suggest gluing your inner thighs toward each other, into each other, And we'll play now with lifting the arms off the floor and floating the left leg. You could have a block here. I would suggest the block on the left side, extending through the heel, having your spine be long, and playing with lifting off. Okay, now we know what it's like on that side. Tuck left toes under. Move the block. Right leg out. Relax shoulders. Inner thighs together. Let the pelvis just settle like it's a boat floating in water. Okay, right leg returns. So I hope we're learning something. Take your hands forward, back to downward dog. Where we're strong, where we're working to be strong, take the right leg up and back behind you, hips are square. And then right thigh to rib cage. Foot lands lightly between the hands. Let's rise up into a lunge position. Sinking, rooting back. Noticing the pelvis once again. Yeah, appreciating the wisdom of being able to notice what's there and carry on. Okay, so we'll bring the palms together in prayer position. What I suggest you do is have your block out in front of you, because we are now moving to Warrior 3. So we're going to take the left leg back, lengthen from the heel through the top of the head, and just feel that action there. Notice your pelvis now. So for many of us, it's quite difficult to level the pelvis in this posture. If you could slip your right hand back behind you and feel your sacrum area, does it feel like a shelf or a table? Then release the left leg back behind us. Rise back up, interlace your fingers, send the palms way up. Good, we're doing some work in the glutes, aren't we? We inhale, exhale, hands to the floor. If you wish to take a vinyasa, do or meet in downward dog. And left leg up and back. Make as much space here as you can. You can feel that you've got the shape of the Warrior 3 right in this posture. Inhale, exhale, thigh to rib cage, foot lands lightly, up we come. Down we sink. Yeah, managing the heat in the body for many of us, the drivers in life, the summertime, as I mentioned, we want to be careful not to overheat, because that does create an environment of a lot more frustration and anger. Keep it cool, keep it cool. We inhale, exhale, block in front of us. Take the back leg off. Lower navel to spine. Push into your heels. Light on your hands. Maybe check to see what's happening back there with the pelvis. You might learn something. Left hand on the sacrum. Can we make it level? Okay, and then we slowly release the right leg to the ground. Arms extend back up. You might interlace the opposite way, send the palms up. Breath open and steady through the top chest. Inhaling, exhale, hands down, left leg back, downward dog, or a vinyasa. Okay, so now things get a little interesting. We'll take the right leg back, hips are square. Grow your space. Right foot forward, nearly between the hands. Back heel pivots. Sole of the foot down, rising up, warrior one. We always say hips square here, but it's really rather ridiculous. We attempt that to happen. Right hip back, left hip forward. Now let's begin with palms in prayer position, shall we? We're headed to warrior three. Listen carefully. We'll make our way into warrior three, and then we'll stack one hip on top of the other. So here we go. Leg forward, reach back. Steady pelvis, steady breath, steady gaze. Right hand might come to a block or the floor. Left hand to your hip. See if you can just roll the hip out to the side now. We've done this movement numerous times in different ways. What if you bring the left hip back down? You could take your hand to your sacrum, find level. Yes, and then back up and open. And that's right, we're going to do this 5 times. Go slowly. Notice the mechanics, the inner workings of your body. Slowly, slowly. This is the point where for some of us the heat begins to rise. Like, wow, this is intense. Okay, we'll make our way back through warrior three and back down again into warrior one, rising up. Exhale, hands to the ground, either downward dog or a vinyasa. And if you need to take child's pose for a moment, do. Grow the spine. We'll take the left leg up and back. Good squaring. Inhale, exhale, thigh to rib cage. Foot lands lightly, back heel pivots. Up we come. Rooting back. Good, equal standing, equal standing. Equal between left and right feet, is that possible? Equal in the hips, is that possible? Inhaling, exhale, palms in prayer position, folding forward, take back leg off, into warrior three. You might check left hand to the sacrum, what's going on back there. Push through both heels, strong, and then left hand to the floor, right hand to the hip, open out. Stack the hip best you can. And then turn, take your hand to your sacrum, back down to equanimous pelvis. Inhale, we open. Moving really slowly, feeling in. What needs more strength? We want to know these things. Where do we really need to put our attention and our focus? So often with our conditioned pattern behavior, we just keep going down the same tracks again and again and again. What needs our attention? Okay, let's do one more for good measure. Oh, I hope you're feeling some shaking by now. Slowly right hip down. Lower the right leg back behind you. Good, inhale, slowly rise up. Interlace the other way, send the arms up. Sink, inhale. Exhale, down we come. Leg back, downward dog, or you know. And then come down to child's pose and let's rest for a moment. Feeling into the body. So where is the body in space? That in of itself. Sometimes when those of us who are addicted to speed racer, we may not even know where we are in space, right? We just on to the next thing, on to the next thing. So we've done a lot of work, you know where, slowly rise. So let's give ourselves a little bit of an opening now in the glutes and the hips. If you take your left knee around the back of the right knee, feet are out to the side. Draw the hips back behind you. It's like a version of cow face pose. And go until you can feel where the relaxation would be a great idea. Some of you will bring the sit bones all the way to the floor. And when we're here for a period of time, can we watch the weather? The weather inside us. Changing patterns of the breath. Rising and passing thought. And slowly we make our way back up. Left leg scoops around the front, take the feet wide. Good, lead with your pelvis, drawing back. With the interest of an explorer. Completely curious. We're all cultivating curiosity during this time because while we thought this was a break from our life, what we've learned is that this is our life and there's seeds of so much potential here. So often conditioned responses get in the way of living in pure potential. And we're very interested in pure potential because that's where the good stuff, creativity, insight lies. The old patterns are like a veil. Good, and then we slowly rise up. Unwind that. Hands and knees. Okay, let's take the left hip on top of the right hip. This shape may be quite familiar now. And the left leg draws back behind us. The left arm extends up. You notice it's half moon. Shoulders are free, extending in all directions, making the most of this shape, making the most of this. We could bend the knee, reach back, grasp the outside of the ankle, opening out, lengthening as if we're lengthening the femur bone, opening through the chest. Noticing all the forces at play to keep us steady. And then we release, hand down, knee down. Let's take the right leg back now. Stacking. Reach through the heel. Arm extends. Feel the potential of this shape. Right hip on top of left. Acknowledging it all. Acknowledging what is weak, what is strong. Strength and acknowledging weakness, yes? Oh God, I hope so. So we bend the right knee, reach back. Yes, the answer is yes. Extending away. Opening out. And growing. If we spend a little time here, we can grow our inner awareness into the outside shape. So it's not just a meat suit. Move your awareness around into the outer edges of it. And then we come down. All right, so back onto the back we go. Taking the arms around the legs. Giving ourselves a hug, remembering that. Feel the great baseline that the floor provides here and the support of the ground. And then let's cross the right ankle over the left thigh, figure 4, interlacing. Feeling the layers of opening. At the glutes, piriformis. No force, just invite. So sustained attention invites change, doesn't it? Invites the experience of change. And compassion for ourselves is one of the key ingredients in growth. Because there's a place for being able to say, wow, I'm struggling in a particular area. That's the beginning, is the acknowledgement of the struggle. And then we pour our tenderness all over ourselves in big scoops, tenderness and compassion for this very conditioned life. We unwind, left ankle crosses. Noticing what's here. Our two good friends, awareness. love, tenderness, or compassion. You choose your word. Good, and then unwind. Take both legs straight up toward the ceiling now. Release the arms down. So teaching shoulder stand on YouTube isn't something that I'm terribly comfortable with. I might make a tutorial dedicated specifically to that at some point. But if you have a very safe setup for your shoulder stand, you can take that now. Otherwise, we'll be on the back. If you have a headstand practice, you could take that too. And I'll just give some examples of where this practice can go for the inverters in the space. So the rest of us are going to stay down here with the back on the ground. In fact, we'd love to feel the lumbar spine make contact. Reach through your heels. And then you might keep your right leg absolutely vertical and take your left leg out to the extent that the right leg wants to counter it. And how it would counter it is by going to the right. So watch both legs. Can you reach through the heels? Left leg comes down, right leg absolutely sticks straight. Shoulder stand people, if you've got quite a strong practice, you could do the same. And so can you with headstand. The issue is you'd really like to be able to see what's going on with the top leg. And in headstand, you can't. You can't see it unless you've got a mirror nearby. And then inhale, come back up. Good, pause. So everyone's got both legs straight up. And now the right leg goes slow enough so that you can track. Left leg stays vertical. Rest of the body is soft. Sometimes the shoulders and the face get involved in something like this, and they're not needed right now. Reach through the heels, spread your toes. Watch what's happening at the pelvis. Yep, I bet you're working pretty hard here. Good, strong legs. And then slowly back up. And everyone has taken the legs back up. Now, press through your heels. Draw the palms together at the heart. And slowly, slowly, we'll lower the legs. Very slowly. Feel how the lumbar spine is pressing into the ground. You can lift your head just a little bit. The feet are now about a foot off the floor. I like to call this a kayak or a raft. And then down we come, resting the whole body down like how we started. Take the arms wide. Actually, for our purposes, let's take a twist because it'll be nice for the spine. Arms wide like cactus. Do draw the knees in. Knee on knee. Send the legs out to the right. Now that in and of itself, if we're honest about that, it usually isn't knee on knee. Check your knees as you go to the right. And then at some point you may need to just let the legs release to the floor, and it's probably not knee on knee anymore. Turn to the left. Some of you might straighten the legs. You could close the chain by holding the feet or the calf with your right hand. Feel the pelvis here. Then bend the knees once again. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, legs move out to the left. Watch knee on knee first. How far can you take that? Then land. Release shoulder blades. And straighten the legs if you wish. Good. Emptying out, bringing out. Inhaling, come back up. Exhale. Now, legs long. Shavasana. When you just take your hands to your ASIS, the hip bones, and feel the pelvis. And then release your arms long, slide your shoulder blades down, have your palms turn up. Let the skin of the body soften. Soften the tongue and the jaw. Notice the breath moving in and out through the nose. How the diaphragm swells and then releases. Notice that the body itself relaxes. But that we can expand our awareness beyond our body to the whole space in the room. We are aware and awake. This morning before class, as I was thinking about the theme, I remembered Guns N' Roses. Said woman, take it slow and it'll work itself out fine. All we need is just a little patience. Said sugar, make it slow and we'll come together fine. All we need is just a little patience. And something a little bit more traditional to the yoga practice. Accept the reality that you are in the throes of a crisis. Stop wishing that it didn't exist. Acceptance always delivers inner peace. Know that the storm will always be strong. By even thinking of its ferocity, you are only going to feel debilitated. At the epicenter of a storm, it is always calm. Find the center. Your center. That's where you will find strength. Your center is where you lose sense of time, place, and thought. Art. Anything inherent that makes you come alive often leads you there. Trust the process of life. Do what you can do without losing your inner peace. Daily, diligently. No matter how intense it is, no storm lasts forever. All storms pass. So be patient. Surrender completely. Let go and offer yourself to be led by life. So gradually now let's bring one knee at a time into the chest and wrap the arms around the legs. Give ourselves a hug. Extending the right arm up over the head, we roll to the side and pause. And we make our way up gradually to a comfortable seat. With the eyes closed. Feeling the pelvis, feeling the breath, feeling into the heart, remembering our good friend's awareness and love/compassion/tenderness. Let's draw the palms together at the heart. And we'll close with one Om this morning. Inhale together. Exhaling. Inhale. Let's bring the hands to the forehead, right thought. May we be steady, may we be present, and may we be joyful. The hands come to the mouth, right speech. May our words improve upon the silence. And our hands come to our heart, right action. May we be the change that we wish to see. Namaste. Well, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. That interesting relationship between just this much, yes? And how gravity changes everything. And I will be back next week. I have a lot going on. I feel like, wow, there's an immense amount of teaching opportunities happening. And if you look at breathetogetheryoga.com, you will see what is coming, okay? There's one big thing coming I haven't put up yet, but it's all there. All right, take care. Take care. See you soon. See you soon. See you on the beach. See you in a park.